got it for an absolute steal. I just absolutely buzzing. Hi folks, Will at LL Workshop. Is this the bargain of the century? I think so. Stay tuned to the end. There's a competition with an actual prize. I don't really think I need to explain what this is. Or maybe I do. Maybe I need to explain why this is such a bargain. Have you identified it yet? So this is a TD5 bulkhead, 2002 onwards. Part number AHA 710460. Right hand drive. There we go. And these things are getting rarer and rarer, and this one is in pretty good condition. And I got this for a steal. Got it for an absolute steal. I'm just absolutely buzzing that I've managed to secure one of these. And I hope this video doesn't come across as smug, but it's just the end of a 2-year quest, really. Which is why yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to tell you what's going on. About 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to buy a bulkhead to replace on my Land Rover because it's getting pretty crusty and old, and I want to upgrade everything to rest of the world spec eventually. And really, the purest part of me says, got to do it with the kind of bulkhead that goes on there. Would have gone on there naturally, which is this type of bulkhead. And I actually bought one of these in March 2018, or rather I bought 7 of them. I put in the order on the retailer's website and got through to the payment, and it failed. Spoke to the bank, they said it was the retailer's problem. Spoke to the retailer, they said it was the bank's problem. The retailer wouldn't take the card over the phone, so I was a bit stuffed. So 7 times or thereabouts I tried to buy this online, and it didn't go through, and I just sort of gave up after that. That was after several attempts over several days. I kind of gave up. The month later, around about April or May 2017, this was April or May 2017, these things hit the roof in prices. So at the time it was 1,400 quid, brand new genuine one from Land Rover. I thought it was a lot, but I was prepared to pay the price. However, I didn't get around to it. As I explained, these then went to £3,500. 3.5 grand. Now, the link's on the screen, they're sitting around £4,500 for a brand new one. So what I can only imagine is, around about when I was buying this, or attempting to buy one of these, someone else bought the second to last one, and there was 1 left in the warehouse, or 2 left, or something like that. And Land Rover just bumped its price up. They seem to do that. Supply and demand is the only reason why I think they can charge extortionate prices for some of these panels. Needless to say, they're starting to get quite hard to come across. And there's they're quite there's quite a fabled story that goes with these. Back in 2008 or thereabouts, 2008, 2009, there was a typo in the price, in the Land Rover list price, and these were being sold brand new for about £100–150, and a few people cottoned onto it around the time, and they bought loads of these things. There's a few people on forums that talk about what they did. They bought like 4 or 5 of these, and they say things like, "Oh, I'm down to my last TD5 bulkhead," and shit like that. And it's galling to think that the price was, even when it was in recent years, was 10 times more. Now it's a hell of a lot more, and you just think, oh, if only. So these were being sold, for like 100–150 quid. Someone figured it out, and they stuck an extra 0 on the end, or thereabout. No, I think they're about 800 quid. Once they cleared it, once they fixed the problem, they were about 800 quid. Some of these things come up on eBay because I think a lot of people potentially bought some around about that time, and they stored them for a project that's never happened, and they every now and then they get sold off on eBay in primer and varying levels of quality, but they go for somewhere between £1,000 and £2,000. So let me tell you about this one. This one I bought from a guy who had absolutely no idea what it was. Really nice guy. He just didn't know what he had. Essentially, it was his dad's who became ill and passed away before he could do anything with it. And so this guy was clearing out his dad's garage with a load of old Land Rover stuff. And there was this. Now, this is where the story of this bulkhead gets interesting. Because when I first saw it, I thought, oh, someone's made a bulkhead out of like panels, like wire iron panels or something, they've put it together. But as I looked at it more closely, I realised it was actually a genuine bulkhead. All the spot welds are in an identical place. All the drill holes identically matched. It's got all the studs and it's got the plastic caps on the studs. The studs are in the right place compared to, you know, stock photos I've seen of bulkheads. So I realised it was actually a genuine bulkhead from Land Rover. But this is really intriguing. For attention of S. Bogle at LDV sample. So the guy that owned this, the dad of the guy I bought it from, worked for LDV. And this guy worked at LDV also. He worked apparently in the e-coating department. Now, bulkheads from Land Rover, genuine ones, typically come all black, e-coated. And LDV, from some research I've done on the internet, had one of the biggest, because the factory closed in about 2008 or 9, had one of the biggest e-coating facilities in the West Midlands, if not in the UK. So I suspect that Land Rover were getting their bulkheads e-coated at LDV. Now, the fact that that factory closed late 2008, early 2009 means this bulkhead is at least 10 years old, if not more. And the fact that it's called sample, I suspect that this was sent to LDV by Land Rover saying, here is what a bulkhead is that we want to get e-coated, give us a quote based on this. So that makes sense. The bit that gets confusing was then me thinking, well, how does this end up in private hands? Is it this guy? It got sent to this guy, and then he was like, give it to his mate, who happened to be the dad of the guy I bought it from, who then took it for his vehicle? Or like, what gives? Or what? Why, if this is a sample, why did it never get e-coated, for example? But there's two clues, actually. I've been over this thing, given it a general sort of once over, had a look around at different pieces. There's two things on this that made me think it's a factory reject. First one, well, if you notice here, this kind of flange around here is flush on there. This one, there's a big lip there, it's too high. What that means is these bits in here don't line up properly. There's a lip there. If you look at it from the other side, there's a big almighty gap around there, whereas this one's nice and flush. So that's the first thing I've noticed that's wrong with it. Second thing I've noticed, this footwell is not parallel, the front face is not parallel with this footwell. The seam of this footwell comes all the way along flush on this line here and then joins up with the gearbox tunnel panel. Come on to this one, it's on the wonk. Now, I don't know how much of a problem that'll be. See, it goes all the way back there. The bottoms are actually in the right place. This is flush with this, as it more or less is here. And similarly, the same bit's correct over here. It's just that this slanted piece is essentially down a bit when it got welded in. So, based on that, I think that this was factory reject, sent as a sample. They said, yeah, we can quote for this, here is what it is, and then it probably got chucked away, or no one wanted it, they weren't going to e-coat it because they weren't actually going to use it. So that's my suspicion, it's a factory reject. This foot down here, this bracket, is actually twisted in. You can see it's got a twist in it. I don't think this would be a manufacturing problem because these things are made on a jig, and if you can't line these two holes up on either side properly, then it's not much of a jig, is it really? And this foot is only really held on by this face here and the other face there. It's quite thin metal. This is just a thin box section here essentially, and that's all that gives it the stability. So I suspect this got dropped and it's twisted. So I suspect it's going to be easy just to twist that back. Other than that, there's a few other knocks. There's a knock on here. There's a twist in the footwell down here. Completely stable, there's no holes. The worst bits are down this end. It's completely solid. It's propped up on its side. It's completely solid. And there's even bits that look pretty much brand new all along here. So what do you guys think about my hypothesis? That to me seems to be the most logical explanation to account for the writing on it, and the fact that it's it's just bare, completely bare as well. It's a bit of a mystery, really. But those two features, the footwell and that hole where the loom goes through, I think are two quite interesting aspects that tell me that it's a factory reject. Doesn't matter though, I do not care, because the price I paid for this is out of this world, which is where we come onto the competition time. Put a comment in below the video about how much you think I paid for this. I'd be really interested to see. The person that gets the closest to the price I actually paid is going to get 6 months free supporter status on my website. I've just launched it last week. Thought I'd do a bit of a competition. That's just to be clear, that's a 130 supporter status. So you get 24 retailer prices for 6 months, no charge to you. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment below, and I will let you know what the real price is in an upcoming video. So that's the story of my bargain of the century. This is the end of a 2-year quest for me, and I cannot believe that I actually own one of these now. I was envisioning having to buy a pretty decent entire TD5 vehicle just to get the bulkhead off it, because these things are getting difficult to find. The fact that it's not in perfect condition, I don't care, because it's incredibly workable. This can be fixed up. And the fact that it's like 10 years old and it's only got surface rust, I'm amazed actually. Why the hell do these things rust? If this has been sat for 10 years and it hasn't got holes in it, why do a normal bulkheads go rust? Well, it's rain, but there we go. It's amazing. It's unprotected and it's in the condition it is. It's just astonishing, really. In other news, I've created an Instagram account. If that's your poison, then links in the description. Go and follow me. Other than that, please like, share and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.